Okay, so I wanted to do a quick run through of the conversation guides for you, just to kind of give you an idea of the flow and sort of how to have these tough conversations of coming out with your parents or family or your husband. So, first conversation guide is for coming out to your parents or family. This could be friends too, but so the idea is, you propose and say something like, I'd like to sit down and discuss something important with you. And then as you sit down and you have this conversation, you can start this with, as my parents or as my family members or whoever it is you're speaking to, as my close friend, you love me and you support me, right? And most of the time people are going to say yes, of course. Like, people that love you and care about you, they're going to say of course. So then you follow up, well, and as my parents or my friends or my family, what is it that you've always wanted for me? Or, what do you hope I have in life? And usually people say something like, for you to be happy or healthy, successful, things like that. People typically have those positive, good things that they want for you. And then your response is, I figured it was something like that. And then even follow up, now, is there any particular way you believe that my life and happiness should look to you? So the purpose of this question is to sort of weed out if they sort of have any preconceived notions. But usually parents or people that care about you say something like, for you to be a good person and just doing what you love and what makes you happy. And then your follow up to that is something like, what if I found that what makes me truly happy may not look like what you have envisioned for me? Because this is the hard part about coming out. People know you as the you are, married to a man and potentially as a mom and living this one life. And so that is the vision they have of you in their mind. But when you're coming out to them, this is going to be sort of a different vision. So that's kind of prompting with this, how are you going to feel if, what makes me truly happy isn't necessarily what you've envisioned? And again, usually parents say something like, or friends say something like, well, as long as you're being a good person and you aren't doing something illegal, or they might go down that route thinking that this is something, a legal matter, or you did something really bad. But typically people just say, as long as you're a good person. And so then this is sort of your opportunity to say, well, I have realized something about myself, and what makes me truly happy is that I'm gay or a lesbian, or I desire to share my life with another woman. Something where you express your desire, and that what is true, who you truly are, is this person who desires to be with another woman. And this may sort of take some time, and it may catch them off guard. But with this, if you get any pushback, this is where you can follow up with something like, but you told me that you love me and you want me to be happy, and this is who I have figured out that I am and what makes me truly happy and fulfilled. And then you can even put it back on them and say, so now am I not allowed to be happy because this doesn't align with your views and what, you're saying you want for me? And a lot of times that will make people backpedal and they might have their questions, but the conversation can then kind of go from there. But you have sort of structured this conversation to sort of set them up to say that they love you, to say that they support you. And so if you get that pushback, you can help them sort of self-reflect on what they just told you, that they love you, they support you, they care about you, they want you to be happy. And that all of this process can take time. Having boundaries, but also showing some grace and understanding is that, people may need some time to process through all of this. But this is a way that you can sort of structure a conversation to where, they know you have something important to say, but you structure that they tell you that they love you and support you. And if somebody truly can't continue to love you and accept who you are, then that's not genuine love. And that's not, unconditional. They're giving you love with conditions, and that's not right and not healthy. But again, this is just sort of a way that you can kind of guide this conversation to being able to come out. Now, we'll go over the coming out to your husband or partner guide too. It's very similar, but a little different because this is a little bit of a different situation. So in this situation, again, say that you'd like to sit down and discuss something important. And then you can follow up once you're sitting down and talking and say, we love each other and we want the best for each other and for each other to be happy, right? I feel like as any married couple, that's pretty much the ground rules or baseline that, you want each other to be happy and fulfilled in life and your relationship and all that. So of course, your partner is likely going to say, yes, of course. So you can follow up with, if there is something making me unhappy and causing me to feel that I need to hide my true self from you, would you want me to keep hiding it or share it with you? And I feel like the majority of partners are going to say share it, of course. If you're in a relationship where somebody cares about you and you want to have healthy communication, they're going to want you to share this with them. I know I would, if somebody came to me and said this, I wouldn't go, no, just go on, keep hiding it. And, I don't really want you to be your true self. And if you're unhappy, fine. Of course I would want to know what was going on. So you can do prompts and say, I know this is likely going to hurt you and that it isn't fair, but over the past, amount of time, over the past year, over the past months, or whatever it is, typically, I feel like for most of us, it's been years. Over the past years, I have realized that I truly desire to share my life with a woman and not with a man. I've realized that I'm a lesbian or gay or however you want to put it. If you're ready to say those words out loud, or if you just want to say that your true desire is to share your life with a woman. Now, men will likely react differently in this situation. Some will just want to open up the relationship and say, oh, great, we can bring in a third, or, some are going to be upset. And some are just going to ask more questions and try to understand. This can sometimes be a tricky thing for men to understand of, you've been married to them or in a relationship with them for however many years, and now all of a sudden you're saying you want to be with a woman. So sometimes that's confusing and they can't really wrap their mind around that. So you have to know what you want in this moment. Going into this, are you willing to open up your relationship and add a third to explore this but maintain it? Or is that something that you definitely are not okay with? Do you know that at this time that you do not believe you can carry on the relationship with your male partner? So I think it's important when you go through this to know what it is that you want out of this. And I think that this is the time where you're going to need to express that. Even if it's I feel we need to separate. I feel I need to spend time exploring who I truly am. This is where you need to kind of know what it is you want and where you want to go from here. And if you do get anger and pushback, this is again where you can say, but we agreed that we want each other to be happy and that you didn't want me to hide my true self from you. And you can flip it around again. Would you have preferred that I just hid this and went on living a lie? And a lot of times, even in anger and frustration and hurt feelings, they're going to say no. They're not going to necessarily like hearing this, but if this is a partner who does genuinely care about you, they're not going to want you to continue hiding who you truly are and live a lie with them. So then your follow-up is, so I'm being honest and I know that this hurts, but I also know it's not fair to you to be with someone who can't return the same feelings you have. Now, again, this is a process and it can take time, and both of you are likely to experience a lot of grief with this, as well as blows to the ego. Men definitely typically experience quite a blow to the ego, so it's important to have boundaries. Again, show grace and understanding, and give people time, give your partner time to process all of this. So I hope this helps give you an idea of how to maybe have some of these hard conversations. If you need more support, if you want direct support from me, if you want connection and community with other women, head on over to thelatelifelesbian.com. I have a 12-week group support program that's specialized, intensive instruction to help you process through all of this, gain that confidence that you need. Or I also have a Late Life Lesbian community that is a place to connect and share with other women going through this too. So again, head on over to thelatelifelesbian.com to check those out if you need some extra support.